Hello, my name is Robin Brown. I'm the National Welcome Team Manager for St John Ambulance. And first of all, a massive thank you for joining our team, especially at this time. I'd also like to apologise. I'm sorry that we're not all together. Our ideal for these welcome sessions is that you're in a room with experienced and new members of the fabulous teams that you'll be joining in order to meet them and get used to your new role. But the times being what they are, it's obviously much easier to be able to give you this information on this video so that you can then get going with your new role as soon as possible. So in this video, we're going to cover a brief overview of the work we do at St John, our history and organisational values, the basic functions of the IT systems that you may have to use, an introduction to how volunteering works at St John, the My Wellbeing programme, which helps look after your well-being in your volunteering, equality, inclusion and diversity within St John, how to use social media, and our recognition practices. What you know as St John Ambulance today started over 900 years ago in Jerusalem, and today is the charity you see before you. Our history is documented in this fabulous museum right next to our current headquarters. I hope one day that you get to visit, because certainly the time we're in at the moment is going to form a very important part of our history, you forming a part of that history in your new volunteering role. If you're interested in finding out more about our history, there's a link attached to this video, sending you to another video made by our young people, taking you through that 900-year history. The values of St John Ambulance are incredibly important to us. I think every organisation talks about its values, but we try to make sure that they are embedded in absolutely everything that we do. Our values spell heart, very luckily a first aid word, and they are humanity, excellence, accountability, responsiveness, and teamwork. We try and embed these deeply into every decision we make on a strategic level and on a day-to-day level. We want humanity to be seen in all of our volunteers and seen by all our volunteers. You should be treated with humanity, with compassion and respect, exactly the same way that we would like you to treat each other and our patients. We are committed to excellence. We are committed to being seen as an incredibly competent organisation with incredibly competent people who deliver fantastic results for the people we work with. Accountability, we want to deliver what we promise, and very much you coming on board now is an opportunity for us to be accountable and deliver on the promises we've made to the NHS. Responsiveness is at the core of what we're doing now. As soon as it became obvious that the COVID pandemic was going to make a significant difference in the life of the UK, St John completely turned itself on its head and redefined itself as an organisation to support the country in this pandemic. You are now part of that. And teamwork. You are never alone in St John. You are never the only person shouldering a burden. You are always with a team of people behind you, beside you, and all around you, working for the same goals and making sure you feel supported to deliver what you need to. There are a variety of outputs for St John in normal times, and let's go briefly through a few of them. Workplace training. So we deliver over 250,000 people their workplace training every year to provide them with the skills to look after sick and injured people in their workplaces. We have community first responders, people who work alongside our ambulance services to deliver care to 999 calls across the country. Ambulance services. So as well as supporting the 999 services, we also have our own ambulances doing our own work for our own event cover. And of course, event cover itself, where our first aiders, clinicians, and even young people are out to support the public at major or local events. Young people and schools. So as well as going into schools and providing materials for schools to train first aid to children and young people, we have our own young people in the form of cadets aged 10 to 17 and badgers aged 7 to 10. And we teach in the community. We intend to give access to first aid knowledge and materials to people in the communities so that nobody should have to suffer for a lack of trained first aiders. You have access to a variety of systems in your volunteering. Connect is our intranet, where you can find all the information you need on how St John works and what we're doing at the moment. DIPS is our event information system, the duty information and planning system on which you will find the current information about the hospital shifts and ambulance shifts we are looking for people to cover. My Data is our personnel system, where you'll be able to update your personal details and upload the hours that you commit to volunteering so that we can make sure they're recognised. And you'll have access to Office 365, a St John Ambulance email address, and a full suite of online office apps to help fill out the documents and any other pieces you need to complete for your volunteering. Connect will look rather like this, with plenty of information on what's happening now and places to reach out for more information or to share your thoughts and opinions on our blogs. At the bottom, you'll find a suite of links to all of our other services. This is your starting point for many things, including the Learning Online button, where you'll be visiting quite early in your journey to complete mandatory training. When you visit My Data, just a quick tip, the log-on screen works slightly differently. Don't attempt to type in a username and password because that doesn't quite work. Click this Azure AD link to be able to log into My Data. Let's talk about social media. Social media is even more important to everybody these days, given it's the only way for many people to interact, and we want to make positive use of it in all times, and especially at the moment. So we suggest that you keep your posts interesting and accessible, that everybody can understand them and that they can see the point you're trying to make. Engaging your audience in a way that makes sense for them. Make it visual with pictures, although you'll have to be careful about the kind of pictures that you post. Keep things short and snappy. People don't want to look into a very, very long post to be able to get your point. We have a number of hashtags you'll be able to use. And especially at the moment, please make sure that social distancing rules are being followed in any photos you post, and any environments in which PPE is important, you are showing that you're using it. You shouldn't be posting things which could harm our reputation. You shouldn't be using images that have inappropriate content. And you shouldn't share confidential information. And confidential information can include the most general things about the patients you're treating, so exercise an abundance of caution. You should not be sharing copyrighted material, and you shouldn't include photos or information about people who haven't given their consent to be included. For young people, you will need the consent of their parent or guardian. For example, Molly may have posted, "Lol, Mike failing to work the jack. I guess the flat tire ambulance won't be saving any lives for a while. #ambulance fail." This is not a wise post for Molly to have made. It makes St. John look rather ridiculous and incompetent. It makes a joke out of something that is an everyday situation, but doesn't put us in the best light. So we would have rather Molly wouldn't have posted this. Mike could have said, "Wow, so glad I remembered my training for my first unresponsive patient at Acme High School Christmas fair. I think she had anorexia. Really sad." Ideally, Mike wouldn't have posted this either. Mike is posting information that could easily identify a person within their community and is also saying some fairly judgmental things. We would not want to be seeing this reflected in the social media posts from our people. Some better examples. So on Instagram, Mustafa would have posted a photo like this: cheeky Nando's after a hard day's volunteering, and then a series of hashtags. This post is absolutely fine. Obviously, in this day and age, there aren't any restaurants to sit in to take the photo, but in general life, we would love to see our volunteers responsibly enjoying their post-volunteering time. We'd also love to see things like this: having a great #MySGA day with some cadets at Man U versus Arsenal looking after the public. Absolutely nothing wrong with this, and a wonderful example of including our young people and showing the public the fun side of what we're doing. Let's talk about My Wellbeing. My Wellbeing is our suite of products to help look after your well-being and the well-being of all St. John people. You can access it from Connect at the bottom of the page where all the links are. There's also an app you can download, which I'll tell you about in a moment. We have the Wellbeing Zone. There are multiple areas to this zone to positively support your well-being, including a personal log to help you track your stats, a wealth of information and resources, including articles and podcasts to help inspire you and improve your knowledge in a variety of well-being related topics. You can use the site to set personal goals and challenges by yourself or as part of a team, and there are healthy recipes and plenty of options for those who may have dietary requirements. Here's the Looking After Yourself zone. This area will pinpoint you to some of our internal resources, including topics and resources that, as an organisation, we're highlighting at the moment. The Confidential Assistance Programme is one of the cores of the My Wellbeing scheme. Rather like an employee assistance programme if you have paid work, this is available to all our people, including volunteers. A telephone helpline where you can get instant counselling support and advice on a range of other things. They can also refer you to in-person counselling once the lockdown is lifted. We have a money zone where you can get financial advice and look at ways to save money. Both the Confidential Assistance Programme and these tools can support you with advice and information around money matters, and both can help you have more control over your finances, manage your money, and have the confidence to make big financial decisions. One of the most exciting areas of My Wellbeing is discounted benefits. where you can access discounts for a variety of online shopping, which you can still use, as well as gym memberships, cinema trips, holidays, eating out, and the things we're all looking forward to once lockdown is lifted. Keep an eye on that area because new offers and discounts are updated all the time. The My Wellbeing app is based on Happy, spelled H-A-P-I. Search your app store and download that. Log in with your St. John Ambulance details and you'll have access to everything on the go. My Expenses is our way of dealing with covering your costs. We don't want anyone to be out of pocket when they're volunteering. So please talk to your manager about how you can access your expenses. Please be aware that at the moment, in the current situation, we are pre-authorising trips of more than 100 miles round trip. So if your journey is going to be less than that, you can be guaranteed you can claim back the expenses. If you need to make a journey longer than that, please talk to your manager about getting authorisation before proceeding. If you need support with being able to afford things in the first place, to be able to undertake your volunteering, again, please talk to your line manager and we'll do our best to support you. Equality and diversity is one of the most important parts of St. John Ambulance. We're a very diverse organisation working for a very diverse country, and we want to take this very seriously. Equality we define as ensuring individuals or groups of individuals are not treated differently or less favourably on the basis of their personal characteristics. To promote inclusiveness is making a diverse group of people feel valued, welcomed, integrated, and included. And diversity is recognising that every individual is unique, our individual differences are recognised, and that they are valued. We will see this everywhere in St. John Ambulance, thanks to our heart values and thanks to the humanity of all of our people. Our policy statement says, St. John Ambulance is committed to creating an equal, inclusive and diverse organisation that provides a high quality and safe service to all members of the community. We embrace those of any age, race, sexuality, gender, disability, socioeconomic background, religion or belief, or with a care responsibility who want to help us uphold our charitable vision, mission and values, or who are in receipt of the services we provide. In doing this, we aim to promote and reflect equality, inclusion and diversity in our local communities and at a national level. Those who wish to support, receive, develop or become involved in the work of St. John Ambulance should not be discouraged to do so on any of the above grounds. We do not tolerate any discrimination relating to issues of equality, inclusiveness and diversity in any aspect of the organisation. Everyone involved in our organisation has a duty to ensure this statement is upheld in all that we do. It's worth adding that although we've made a list of certain personal characteristics in that statement, that list is not exhaustive, and we will not tolerate discrimination against anyone based on any personal characteristic. Why is it important? Knowing about EDI and how we should interact will help to create a happier environment where everyone's voice is sought, heard, and valued. It will protect the organisation and its reputation. It will protect individuals from discrimination and persecution, which, after all, could be a criminal act. It will also help St. John improve because we know inclusive and diverse organisations perform better, are more creative, and are more innovative than those that aren't. The reason it can be quite problematic to create a list of personal characteristics and say these are the only ones we will protect is that the law faces that challenge every day. The law defines 9 protected characteristics which the Equalities Act of 2010 provides protection for in the receipt of goods and services and in employment. However, the Act does not cover volunteering. St. John Ambulance's policy, attitude and practices go above and beyond the law, and we believe that everybody should be protected no matter what involvement they have in our charity and no matter what personal characteristics they have. In recognising unconscious bias, we want to look beyond the things that are on the surface, the things we're conscious of and aware of and the things that we do and say, to think about the unconscious bias that our experiences have put behind us. Before we can work on overcoming our biases, you first have to understand them. Recognising unconscious viewpoints we have about certain groups is the first step, and we should use this awareness to combat the influence on our decisions. This is to say that challenges to equality and diversity don't always come from overt acts. Sometimes we are carrying stereotypes or thoughts about certain groups that carry us forward into actions that are not ideal. We believe that everybody should be able to challenge inappropriate behaviour, not let it continue, and talk to somebody even if you're not the recipient. They should act swiftly, time being of the essence. especially to those who've experienced or witnessed harassment. And if you feel able, tell the perpetrator that you find what they are doing offensive and ask them to stop. Challenging inappropriate behaviour does not mean that you have to challenge it directly. If you see something you're uncomfortable with and you're not comfortable to challenge it directly, you can always talk to a manager or another source of support in order to make sure that it is challenged. Speaking up matters to St. John Ambulance. It is essential that people feel welcomed and to have open and honest conversations about all topics and raise any concerns, ideas, suggestions, and alternative options they may have. We're committed to an open, honest culture and will always look into concerns that are raised, ensuring people have access to the support they need to raise them. As St. John people, we want to treat everyone with dignity, fairness, and respect. We want to behave at all times with honesty, trustworthiness, and sincerity, and to value the diversity of others. And please remember, it's not whether you think your actions and comments, whatever the form and whatever the intention, are acceptable. It's the views of others who hear, see, or experience your actions that matter. So please, take on any feedback in the spirit in which it's intended as an opportunity to learn, develop, and grow. As a volunteer, you should have abundant support to help you succeed and feel comfortable within your role. You should have support from your line manager, from our confidential assistance program, from the trainers and assessors who provide you with the training for your role. You may have a buddy. You'll have a duty manager. So if your line manager is not with you while you're working, somebody else is on duty as the manager and is there to support you. The personal team who recruited you is there to support you through the recruitment process, and we have a volunteer HR team who can provide additional support. Saying thank you is incredibly important to us at St. John, and we should be saying thank you to ourselves and each other as much as possible at this difficult time. Through newsletters and initiatives such as Star of the Month, we should be calling out the finest examples of behaviour and success in the organisation. Certificates of achievement and appreciation are available for managers and for others to provide to people who've gone above and beyond, and we even have postcards that we'd like to send out from time to time to the people who've impressed us. But the most important way of saying thank you in St. John is simply to say thank you. You should be able to get used to hearing that an awful lot, and the best way to make sure that happens is to be part of the solution and to say thank you as much as you can. We like to recognise long service, so if you decide that you're with us just for the period of this crisis, then thank you very much. If you decide to join St. John for the long haul, we do recognise length of service. Every 3 years, you're provided with a new PIN badge, recognising 3, 6 or 9 years of service. And in your 10th year, you'll be awarded the Service Medal of St. John, which every few years then gains a new bar until you've been around for 50 years, and it will change into a gold medal. Depending on your role, you'll be provided a different sort of uniform. The standard service delivery uniform, what I'm wearing and what's being modelled by my colleague, is a green shirt with black combats and a belt. An optional white t-shirt can be worn underneath with black socks and boots or shoes. There's more available, for example, a parka, a soft gel jacket, a cap and beanie. Some of you in hospital care volunteer roles will simply be provided with a t-shirt, which may be replaced by your hospital with their local PPE and or uniform. You'll see rank slides and roll bars in St. John. Black ones are for most of us, with grey for nurses, red for doctors, and green for paramedics. Most rank slides will be blank. You will occasionally see various logos and symbols on the shoulders of people who are holding a command role. But the most important thing to look at is the roll bar, which will describe what somebody's role is at that given moment. Other uniforms you may see are a polo shirt for those in non-clinical roles. Our cycle responders, if you see any around, will be wearing high vis. And for ceremonial occasions, our number ones is a far more smart option. You'll be ordering your uniform through MySDU. Please visit sja.org.uk/MySDU to complete your first order. Please note this will not be sent out immediately. It will come to you as soon as your screening with HR is complete. You've reached the end of this video, and we can now talk about your next steps. So you will be undertaking some classroom training in the case of most roles. This may include a first aid course or possibly a COVID-19 care module. There will also be some online training to do. This will almost certainly include for you moving and handling principles, introduction to safeguarding and GDPR, may also include medicines management, and further COVID-19 care modules. HR screening is going on in the background. If you're joining us from one of our partner organisations, we may be sharing this information with your existing HR department. Otherwise, we may be coming to you for further checks or continuing these in the background. When these are complete and your training is complete, you'll be able to go on your day one of volunteering. Please remember, on your first in-person day, you should bring your ID documents that we've already checked during the online screening process so we can confirm these are genuine copies. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you so much for joining St. John at this time. I hope we can look forward to giving you a wonderful experience, whether you're volunteering with us for just a few months or for a number of years. A very warm welcome to the team.